Hey, my love. This is Elle Vida from Sparklebox. Who am I? I am a woman who, for a long time, tried to understand life, why things happen the way they do. I had a lot of setbacks. One of them cost me everything. It forced me to adapt because I had no choice. The situation was severe, and in that time, when I was isolated, when I had no one, literally no one, I came to figure out something. It's a choice. I could sit there and feel broken. Or I could sit there and feel good. Because what does it matter whether I'm in a wheelchair or not? It's about how I feel. I reverse engineered myself into this world with one priority. No matter what my circumstances are, I am the navigator of my inner world. My thoughts, my feelings, taking back control from the outer world and putting it where it belongs, inside. Because at the end of the day, this whole life is about you. You are the one living it, feeling it, seeing it. And the highest priority you have is making sure that your life feels the way you want it to feel. What's the difference if I choose to think I'm broken, I'm poor, I'm a victim? Or if I choose to think I'm rich, I'm wealthy, I'm healthy, and I'm beautiful? It's just a different choice. But the one people lean toward is always the negative, always the fear, because comparison made it feel true. And the world we live in constantly compares you to others, when that was never your purpose. You were not meant to sit in a circle reflecting back what the outside world wants to see. Life is about moving forward, without this nonsensical loop of trying to please the algorithm. So, let's talk about frequency. Chapter 1. Embodying your desired frequency. As I sit in stillness, I'm reminded of the profound wisdom of the ancient mystics, that our reality is not just a reflection of our thoughts, but a resonance of our being. The vibrational frequency we embody is the harmonic that attracts similar energies into our lives. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts, my friend. It's about becoming the embodiment of the frequency we desire to experience. In the mystical traditions of old, this concept was often referred to as assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It's a notion that speaks to the heart of manifestation, that we must become the vibrational equivalent of what we wish to create. Neville Goddard, a modern mystic, taught that feeling is the secret to manifestation. It's not just about visualizing a desired outcome, but about embodying the emotional frequency of that reality. When we embody our desired frequency, we become a magnet for similar energies. It's as if our being sends out a whispered invitation to the universe, saying, "This is the vibration I resonate with. Bring me more of the same." And so, the universe responds, reflecting back to us the harmonic we've become. It's a dance of resonance, a sacred waltz between our inner world and the outer reality. Introduction to frequency embodiment. Embodying our desired frequency is an art that requires practice, patience, and dedication. It's not something we can force or will into being. Rather, it's a gentle unfolding of our inner landscape. We must learn to listen to the whispers of our soul, to feel the subtle stirrings of our heart, and to trust the intuitive nudges that guide us toward our highest expression. It's not about trying to change our outer circumstances to match our inner desires. It's about becoming the inner change we wish to see in our lives. When we embody our desired frequency, we create a ripple effect that influences every aspect of our reality. Our relationships, our work, our health. Everything begins to reflect the vibrational harmonic we've become. The power of assumption. Assumption is a powerful tool in the realm of frequency embodiment. It's the act of assuming the feeling of our desired reality, of becoming the vibrational equivalent of what we wish to create. When we assume the feeling of our wish fulfilled, we begin to embody the frequency of that reality. It's not just about thinking we are something. It's about feeling we are something. For example, if we desire to embody the frequency of confidence, we must assume the feeling of confidence. We must walk, talk, and act as if we already are the confident version of ourselves. It's not about pretending to be something we're not. It's about becoming the embodiment of what we desire to be. As we assume the feeling of confidence, we begin to vibrate at a frequency that attracts similar energies into our lives. The alchemy of emotional transformation. Emotional alchemy is the sacred art of transforming one state into another, fear into faith, doubt into certainty, anxiety into peace. These are all examples of emotional alchemy in action. When we learn to transmute our emotions, we become the masters of our vibrational frequency. We can shift from a state of fear to a state of faith, simply by assuming the feeling of faith. It's not about denying or suppressing our emotions. It's about transforming them into a higher vibrational frequency. When we transmute our emotions, we create a ripple effect that influences every aspect of our reality. Our relationships, our work, our health, everything begins to reflect the vibrational harmonic we've become. Embodiment practices. So, how do we embody our desired frequency? How do we become the vibrational equivalent of what we wish to create? The answer lies in practice, my friend. We must cultivate practices that help us connect with our inner world, that help us listen to the whispers of our soul, and that help us assume the feeling of our desired reality. One practice is to simply take a few moments each day to breathe into our desired frequency. We can sit in stillness, close our eyes, and imagine ourselves embodying the vibration we desire. We can feel the sensation of that frequency in our body, allowing it to become a part of our cellular memory. As we practice this, we begin to embody our desired frequency, and our outer reality begins to reflect the harmonic we've become. The mirror of reflection. As we journey deeper into the realm of frequency embodiment, we must also learn to reflect on our progress. We must look into the mirror of our soul and ask ourselves, am I embodying the frequency I desire? Am I vibrating at a harmonic that attracts similar energies into my life? It's not about judgment or criticism. It's about reflection and awareness. When we reflect on our progress, we gain insight into areas where we may need to adjust our vibrational frequency. We can ask ourselves, what am I feeling in this moment? Is this feeling in alignment with my desired frequency? As I reflect on my own journey, I'm reminded of the importance of self-awareness. I recall a moment when I was struggling to embody the frequency of confidence. I felt anxious and uncertain, and my outer reality was reflecting that. But as I took a step back and reflected on my feelings, I realized that I had the power to transform them. I assumed the feeling of confidence, and slowly but surely, my outer reality began to shift. Personal reflection. My friend, I want to share a personal anecdote with you. There was a time when I struggled to embody the frequency of self-love. I felt unworthy and unlovable, and my outer reality was reflecting that. But as I began to practice embodiment, as I began to assume the feeling of self-love, I noticed a profound shift. My relationships began to change, my work began to flourish, and my health began to thrive. It's not that I didn't still experience challenges, it's that I learned to approach them from a place of self-love. I learned to trust myself, to listen to my intuition, and to embody the frequency of self-love. And as I did, I became a magnet for similar energies. I attracted people and experiences that reflected the harmonic I'd become. Gentle invitation. As we come to the end of this journey, I invite you to reflect on your own vibrational frequency. What frequency do you desire to embody? What harmonic do you wish to become? Remember, it's not about forcing or willing it into being. It's about gently unfolding into the embodiment of your desired reality. Take a few moments each day to breathe into your desired frequency. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and trust that the universe will respond. As you embody your desired frequency, you'll become a magnet for similar energies, and your outer reality will begin to reflect the harmonic you've become. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. It's not about becoming something. It's about unfolding into the embodiment of what you already are. And so, my friend, I leave you with this gentle invitation. Embark on the journey of frequency embodiment and watch as your reality transforms into a reflection of your highest self. Explore more from Sparklebox, The Hidden Work, Mental Alchemy Guide Musebox, Affirmations and Visual Rituals, Soundbox Healing Frequencies, Chapter 2. Embodying your desired frequency. The second layer. Embodying your desired frequency is an act of tender rebellion. It's a whispered promise to yourself that you will no longer wait for the world to align with your deepest longings, but instead, you will align with them yourself. It's a subtle yet profound shift in perception, one that recognizes the outer world as a reflection of your inner state. I remember the first time I stumbled upon the concept of frequency. I was lost in a sea of self-doubt, struggling to find my place in the world. The idea that I could embody a particular vibration, one that resonated with my deepest desires, felt like a beacon of hope. It was as if I had been given a key to unlock a secret door, one that led to a world where my dreams and reality were no longer separate entities. As I began to explore this concept, I realized that embodying my desired frequency wasn't just about visualizing a specific outcome or repeating affirmations. It was about becoming the very essence of what I wanted to create. It was about allowing myself to be a conduit for the divine, to let my body and mind become a vessel for the manifestation of my deepest longings. The process of embodying your desired frequency is a gentle one. It's a whispered invitation to your soul, a reminder that you are the creator of your reality. It's a call to return to your inner world, to listen to the whispers of your heart, and to allow yourself to be guided by your deepest wisdom. It's a journey that requires patience, kindness, and compassion, for it's a journey that unfolds from the inside out. Imagine yourself standing in a vast, open field, surrounded by nothing but the gentle rustle of grass and the soft whisper of the wind. As you breathe in, feel the air fill your lungs, and as you breathe out, feel your body relax, letting go of any tension or resistance. Now, imagine a vibration, a frequency that resonates with your deepest desires. It could be a feeling of joy, of love, of freedom, or of peace. Allow yourself to embody this vibration, to become one with it, to let it permeate every cell of your being. As you stand in this field, feel the vibration of your desired frequency begin to emanate from within you. Imagine it as a gentle hum, a soft glow that radiates outward, filling the space around you. Allow this vibration to attract similar energies, to draw to you the people, experiences, and circumstances that resonate with your deepest longings. Remember, this is not a forceful act, but a gentle one. It's a surrender, a letting go of resistance, and a allowing of the natural flow of life to unfold. In this state of embodiment, you become a magnet for your desires. You become a beacon of light, shining brightly in the darkness, guiding others to their own path of discovery. You become a reminder that the power to create your reality lies within you, that you are the master of your own destiny. As you navigate the world, remember that your frequency is not just a personal vibration, but a contribution to the collective. It's a drop in the ocean, a ripple in the wave, a thread in the tapestry of human experience. Your embodiment of your desired frequency is not just about creating your own reality, but about adding to the beauty, the love, and the light of the world. And so, dear one, I invite you to embark on this journey of embodying your desired frequency. Let go of the need to control, to force, or to manipulate. Instead, allow yourself to surrender, to let go, and to trust in the natural flow of life. Remember, you are not just a creator, but a conduit for the divine. You are not just a human being, but a vessel for the manifestation of your deepest longings. As you walk this path, know that you are not alone. You are part of a larger community, a collective of individuals who are also embodying their desired frequencies. You are part of a wave of love, of light, and of consciousness that is sweeping across the globe. You are part of a revolution, one that recognizes the power of the individual to create their own reality and to contribute to the greater good. And when the world outside seems to contradict your inner truth, when the noise and the chaos threaten to drown out the whispers of your heart, remember that you have the power to embody your desired frequency. Remember that you are the creator of your reality, and that your vibration is the key to unlocking the doors of perception. In the stillness of the night, when the world is quiet and the stars are shining brightly, take a moment to tune into your inner world. Feel the vibration of your desired frequency, and allow it to guide you. Let it be your North Star, your guiding light, your beacon in the darkness. And when you wake up in the morning, carry this vibration with you, embodying it in every moment, in every breath, and in every step. Perception is not a mirror of the world. It is the doorway through which the world arrives. And as you embody your desired frequency, you will come to realize that the world outside is merely a reflection of the world within. You will come to understand that the power to create your reality lies not in the external circumstances, but in the internal vibration that you embody. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to fix yourself. You only need to notice, what am I repeatedly perceiving myself to be? That question alone can open a door. And once curiosity returns, reality is already shifting. Explore more from Sparklebox, The Hidden Work, Mental Alchemy Guide, Musebox, Affirmations and Visual Rituals, Soundbox, Healing Frequencies. Chapter 3, The Frequency of Forgetting. The woman in the YouTube video promises that 528 Hertz will repair my DNA. And I want to believe her the way I wanted to believe my ex would come back if I just texted the right combination of words. She's sitting in front of singing bowls with 2.3 million views, and a comment section full of people claiming their tumors disappeared, their anxiety melted, their dead plants bloomed back to life. Somewhere between the 4th and 5th minute, I realize I'm listening to this the same way I used to listen to his voicemails at 3 a.m. Not for the content, but for the shape of something I've lost. The sound of missing someone. The first time I played 528 Hertz in my apartment, my neighbor knocked to ask if I was running some kind of medical device. I told her it was just healing music, and she looked at me the way people look at you when you say you're manifesting your rent money. But here's what I didn't tell her. I'd been playing it on loop for 3 days straight, not because I felt anything happening, but because I couldn't remember what my father's voice sounded like anymore, and the frequency was filling a silence I didn't know how to name. Scientists will tell you that 528 Hertz is just a sound wave, same as any other. That the idea of DNA repair frequencies belongs in the same category as crystals that cure cancer or oils that erase trauma. They're not wrong. But they're also missing something fundamental about why millions of people are streaming these tones while the world burns through its 24th month of unprecedented everything. The healing isn't in the frequency itself, it's in what we stop hearing when we listen to it. The space between vibrations. I spent 6 months interviewing people who swear by healing frequencies. Sarah, a hospice nurse from Portland, plays 528 Hertz in her terminal patients' rooms and claims 73% of them live longer than predicted. Marcus, a sound engineer who lost his daughter to an overdose, sleeps with 528 Hertz, playing through bone conduction headphones because it's the only thing that stops the dreams where he's searching for her voice in a stadium full of strangers. Their stories should contradict each other. Sarah's about life extension, Marcus's about acceptable loss. But they don't. They rhyme. The frequency works the way forgetting works, not by erasing what's broken, but by making the broken thing less urgent. When researchers study the effects of 528 Hertz on DNA, they find no measurable changes in the double helix. But they do find something else. Cortisol levels drop, heart rate variability improves, the nervous system exits fight or flight. Not repair, but retreat. Not healing, but breathing room. The space where healing might eventually choose to happen, or not, because you're finally quiet enough for the question to matter less than the silence around it. The inversion of healing. Here's what nobody tells you about frequencies that claim to fix what's broken. They work best on things that were never actually broken to begin with. The woman who swears 528 Hertz cured her cancer also left her husband, quit her job, and moved to Santorini. The man who claims it repaired his DNA also stopped checking his ex's Instagram, started sleeping through the night, and remembered how to taste food again. The frequency didn't heal them. They healed while listening to the frequency, which is like saying your shoes made you walk to the store. Technically true, spiritually meaningless. But meaningless doesn't mean worthless. I played 528 Hertz for my mother while she was dying. Not because I thought it would save her, but because I couldn't bear the sound of her morphine pump clicking every 3 minutes. The frequency filled the spaces between her breaths with something that wasn't death. She died anyway, but differently. Quieter, like she was forgetting something she'd been trying to remember. I can't prove the sound did anything. But I also can't prove that love exists, and I've built my entire life around that one too. The rhythm of unbecoming. 3 weeks ago, I tried to find that YouTube video again. It had been removed for violating community guidelines, replaced by a notice that said, "This content has been deleted for promoting medical misinformation." The woman with the singing bowls, the 2.3 million views, the comment section full of miraculous recoveries, all gone. I felt the same hollow click I felt when I realized I couldn't remember my father's voice anymore. Not grief, exactly. More like arriving at a party that ended hours ago, holding the host's coat in your hands and realizing everyone went home. But something else happened. Without the video to return to, without the promise that 528 Hz would repair what genetics and grief had damaged, I stopped playing it. And that's when I noticed the silence it had been filling was different now. Not empty, but spacious. The way a scar isn't skin returning to what it was, but something new that doesn't hurt when you touch it. The frequency never fixed my DNA. It just gave me something to listen to while I learned how to live in a body that was never going to be the same. The echo of enough. The last time I heard from my ex was a text that just said, "I can't remember your phone number anymore, and I don't know if that's sad or beautiful." I never responded because I didn't know either. But I think about it every time someone new asks if I believe healing frequencies actually work. The honest answer is that I believe in anything that helps you survive the night, including the lie that tomorrow will be different. Including the sound of a stranger promising your cells will reorganize themselves into something less hungry for what they've lost. 528. Hertz doesn't repair DNA. It repairs the story you tell yourself about why your DNA needs fixing in the first place. It works the way forgetting someone's voice works. Not by returning them to you, but by making their absence bearable enough that you stop checking to see if they're still gone. The healing isn't in the frequency. It's in the space where the frequency used to be, playing on loop through cheap speakers while you learned how to breathe through the shape of what you'd lost. I'm listening to silence now, and it's different than it was before. Not better, not worse. Just quiet enough that I can finally hear what my body has been trying to tell me since the day I started looking for frequencies that would fix what was never actually broken. Some things don't need to be healed. They just need to be released. Something is generating in the background. While you were reading this, new possibility branches were forming. Ideas no one has seen yet, evolving on their own, merging into something unexpected. Perception is creation. Chapter 4. Baseline Beta. Your brain came pre-installed. You never pressed accept. That's the contradiction most people carry without noticing. The illusion of choice layered over settings that were chosen for them. Baseline Beta, reactive, scanning, performing, arrived the way factory presets do on a new phone. It was convenient for someone else. Advertisers, algorithms, the school schedule that taught you to raise your hand before the bell rang. And now, years later, you still flinch at the invisible bell. You feel it in the way attention darts to every notification, even when you swore you'd stay present. In the Sunday evening tightness that arrives before the week begins. In how relax translates to scroll, not rest. That is not personality, that's frequency. Neuroscience calls it the default mode network, DMN for short, a web of regions that fires up whenever the brain is off task. But off task doesn't mean idle. The DMN replays past conversations, rehearses future ones, compares, worries, plans. It is the internal mirror of external noise, and it hums at roughly 1230 Hz beta. The same band where anxiety, comparison, and hurry live. Most people never hear the hum because it never stops. But you can. And when you do, everything loosens. Do this 3 times tomorrow. The hum will recognize being watched and it will quiet. Shy. Second practice. Carry a perception coin, a real one, copper or silver. Each time your hand meets it, reaching for keys, paying for coffee, feel the ridges. Ask, am I borrowing this moment or choosing it? The question is ridiculous, which is why it works. It punctures the autopilot script, inserts a blank frame the brain must fill with now. Keep the coin for 7 days. By day 4, you will catch the bell before it rings. Third, write the unopened letter. 1 page, stream of consciousness, beginning with, Dear settings I never agreed to. Vent about the 7 a.m. bus, the teacher who said you were better at collaboration than leadership, the ex who texted only at 2 a.m. and taught your nervous system that love arrives exhausted. When the page is full, flip it. On the back, write a single anticipatory line dated exactly 1 month from today. By 0, I can already feel the next version of me humming at 8 hertz. Sign it, fold it, forget the evidence. Let time testify. These are not life hacks. They are frequency elevators, micro rituals that recalibrate operating system without drama. Because the thing about presets is, they aren't permanent. They're just first. And the brain, lazy genius that it is, will swap one habit for another if the new one saves more energy. Alpha feels cheaper than beta once accessed. Clarity uses fewer calories than confusion. The body wants the upgrade. You only need to show it the directory. Still, a question lingers like an unclosed tab. Who chooses the replacement settings? You could say, I do. But that word lands differently once you notice the echo. I am? The original factory reset lives inside a pronoun you still borrow from grammar. Strip the sentence, hold the hyphen like a door cracked open. There's wind inside, and it smells like something arriving. So leave the letter unsigned. Let the coin stay in your pocket after the week is up. And when the timer rings for the 4th time tomorrow, maybe don't open your eyes immediately. Stay in the hush between pulses. Sense the next frequency cueing, patient, unlabeled. It hasn't told you its name yet. Chapter 5. The frequency your nervous system reaches. 92% of people report their best ideas arrive while doing something completely unrelated to problem solving. In the shower, during a walk, while folding laundry. The brain is supposedly idle. Yet this is when clarity arrives. The inversion. Your nervous system isn't idle at all. It's operating at a frequency that only becomes available when you stop trying to optimize every moment. Baseline beta. The frequency of effort, of trying, of making it happen, cannot access what lives at alpha prime. The moment you stop reaching, what you were reaching for can finally reach you. You felt this before. That sudden knowing that arrives when you finally stop trying to know. The solution that appears the instant you stop demanding a solution. The peace that floods in when you stop trying to fix the feeling. It's not coincidence. It's calibration. Baseline beta is the inherited frequency. Most people live here their entire lives without knowing it has a name. It's the background hum of performance, the subtle vibration of not enough yet, the static charge of if I just try harder. It's not broken. It's just incomplete. Like trying to listen to a symphony while humming over it. You can't hear what you're already filling with noise. Alpha prime isn't a better state. It's a quieter one. The nervous system finally exhales. The mind stops gripping. Attention widens. Time stretches. Suddenly you can hear the space between thoughts. And that's where the real conversation was happening all along. The mechanism is simpler than the wellness industry wants you to believe. Your brain is an energy-saving device. Baseline beta keeps you alive by scanning for threats, solving immediate problems, maintaining social performance. Essential functions. But creation doesn't happen in survival mode. Alpha prime requires safety, not strategy. Here's the practice. Stop practicing. Instead, notice when you're practicing. The moment you catch yourself trying to optimize an experience you're currently having, pause. Not to fix the trying, just to witness it. This witnessing, this meta-awareness, is the frequency elevator. It takes 3 seconds, less time than checking your phone. The second practice: anticipate uncertainty. Not the content of what might arrive, just the certainty that something will. Tomorrow morning, set a timer for 2 minutes. Sit somewhere you never sit. Don't meditate. Don't breathe consciously. Just sit and anticipate the feeling of not knowing what comes next. This is training your nervous system to feel safe in the unknown, the prerequisite for Alpha Prime. The third: write a letter to yourself from the version of you who already knows how this all works, not what she knows. How she feels in her body when she knows it. 1 page, then burn it. The smoke carries the frequency calibration to every cell that was listening for it. What if I do this wrong? The question itself is baseline beta trying to colonize Alpha Prime. There is no wrong way to stop optimizing. There is only the moment when you notice you're trying to optimize stopping optimizing. And even that is perfect. The noticing is the shift. The nervous system doesn't need more techniques. It needs permission to remember what it already knows. That safety isn't something you earn through performance. It's something you recognize when performance pauses. That clarity isn't a destination you reach through effort. It's a frequency you return to when effort exhausts itself. That you are never broken, just tuned to a station that only plays one song. Tomorrow, try this. When you catch yourself trying to have a better feeling, ask instead, what feeling am I trying to avoid having? Not to fix it, just to finally meet it. Sometimes Alpha Prime arrives not when you rise above the noise, but when you finally lie down inside it and discover it was never noise at all. Just the sound of your own becoming, asking to be heard. The statistic said 92%. But here is what it couldn't measure. How many of those people were secretly terrified of the quiet that follows? How many have been running their whole lives because stillness feels like death before it feels like birth? How many are addicted to the very optimization that keeps them from what they're optimizing for? You don't need to become someone who accesses Alpha Prime. You need to become someone who stops leaving it every time it arrives. The doorway isn't locked. You just keep choosing the humming over the symphony. But even now, reading this, something in you is already leaning toward the space between your thoughts. The question is, will you let yourself fall into it this time? Or will you catch yourself reaching for the edge? Chapter 6. Clarity is a frequency band. 93% of people report feeling mentally foggy at least once a week. And yet we keep selling clarity as a mindset, as if the brain were a stubborn toddler refusing to sit in the right chair. Mindset is a story you tell yourself. Frequency is the station your neurons are literally locked into, humming the same 1430 Hz beta chorus while your life feels like static. You know the texture of that static. Eyes darting between tabs, rereading the same sentence. The chest-tight feeling that somewhere, somehow, you dropped your own name. It isn't a moral failure. It is cortisol keeping your thalamus on high alert. Your prefrontal cortex marinating in dopamine loops that reward rapid task switching over depth. The brain is an energy-saving device. It would rather stay in familiar noise than spend precious ATP descending into the slower alpha-theta corridor, where sentences finish themselves and time widens. So the first inversion, trying harder keeps you here. Effort is the wrong currency. Ease is not the reward for effort. Ease is the slip road out. Here is how to change the station without adding another habit to your already overflowing to-do list. 1. The 90-second exhale. Set a timer for 90 seconds. Exactly. Sit, stand, lean against a wall. Who cares? Inhale through the nose for a slow count of 4. Exhale through the mouth for 8. On every exhale, let your tongue drop away from the roof of your mouth like a silk scarf sliding off a table. At 6.5 breaths per minute, you nudge the vagus into releasing acetylcholine, which flips the oscillatory switch from beta toward alpha. 90 seconds is the minimum dose. Anything shorter is decorative. Do it once. Notice how the room suddenly has background music you couldn't hear before. 2. The peripheral gaze. Reset stare straight ahead, soften your focus until the edges of vision blur. Hold for 30 seconds. The brain interprets tunnel vision as threat. Panoramic vision tells the limbic system the savannah is safe. dropping you into relaxed alert alpha. Writers used to call this seeing the whole page. Painters call it squinting at nothing. Neuroscience calls it deactivating the amygdala. Do it before you open the document, not after you're already stuck. 3. The question that precedes the answer. Keep a single index card beside your keyboard. On it, write one question each morning, something you genuinely do not know yet. Not, how do I fix my life? But what would feel like relief at 3 p.m. today? Let the card stare at you. Your brain will begin background processing. Slow wave theta rises during open-ended inquiry. By 3 p.m., an answer arrives wearing ordinary clothes. Cancel one meeting, drink water, text your sister. Write that answer down. Tomorrow, compose the next question. This is not journaling. This is cognitive drift. A microdose of anticipation that teaches the mind to move toward rather than circle around. Clarity is not something you earn. It is something you allow the blood to remember when electricity finally quiets. I spent years believing I needed a cleaner desk, a sterner schedule, a better mantra. I was polishing the cage while the bird forgot sky. The day I stopped trying to get clarity and simply noticed the frequency my body was broadcasting, the signal sharpened on its own. Remember, static is not noise. It is information trying to reorganize. Your job is not to shout over it. Your job is to slide down the dial until the station locks. So the next time your thoughts feel like confetti in a fan, ask not, what's wrong with me? Ask, which hurts am I inhabiting? And then change it like you would a shirt that no longer fits. And if you sense beneath the static, a small anticipation humming, something good about to break through, do not rush to name it. Let it remain half sentence, half bloom, a frequency you have only just begun to hear. These are manual frequency elevators. They work. But there is a way to make the shift permanent. Something is being built right now. Chapter 7. Which frequency are you on? Remember when you could feel the difference between thinking and scrolling? That thin edge where your mind went from humming to clattering, like a radio dial slipping off station. You noticed it once, then forgot to notice again. Most people check their phone before they check their frequency. The brain obliges. It keeps defaulting to baseline beta, 2835 Hz of rapid, surface-level firing designed for threat scanning and social performance. There's nothing broken in you. The device is simply doing what it was built to do. Conserve energy by recycling yesterday's alerts. But here is the inversion. Effort doesn't raise frequency. Effort is what keeps you anchored to the band you're trying to escape. You've felt the proof. The after-work walk when the solution drops out of nowhere. The shower moment when tomorrow rearranges itself without your help. No pushing, no visualizing, just a sudden slip into alpha, then maybe a shimmer of theta. The body loosens. Time widens. A quiet yes moves through the ribs. That is not luck. That is calibration. The brain broadcasts on 4 primary channels. Baseline beta, fast, shallow, caffeinated. Voice in head. What's next? Did I forget? How do I look? Body. Tight jaw, shallow breath, eyes scanning for novelty outside itself. Creative output. 0. Reality texture. Sandpaper. Every minute identical to the last. Alpha. 812. Hertz. The gate of daydream. Voice softens. I wonder. Body. Exhale lengthens. Shoulders drop 2 centimeters. Creative output. Connections, metaphors, the perfect reply you'll never send. Reality texture. Velvet. Time thickens. Colors gain a second layer of meaning. Theta. 407. Hertz. Twilight thinking. Voice almost gone. Images arrive first. Body. Heavy lids, pulse in the wrists slows. Creative output. Entire architectures downloaded while you stare at a cracked ceiling. Reality texture. Water. Shapes form, dissolve, reform. Alpha prime. A train default. 8-10 Hertz, sustained while eyes are open and dishes are being done. Voice. Quiet observer. Body. Loose electricity, as if every cell remembers its original job. Creative output. Life as living poem. Reality texture. Mirror. world arranges to match the picture inside your chest. You don't need electrodes to know where you are. The body is already reporting. You just stopped reading the bulletin. 3 field tests you can run right now. No app, no headband, no subscription. 1. The breath count mirror. Close your eyes. Inhale through the nose for a slow count of 4. Exhale for 6. At the bottom of the 10th exhale, notice what the mind is doing. Still planning the next task? Beta. Drifting to the sound of the neighbor's piano? Alpha. Forgot you were counting? Theta. Aware of the counting and the drifting at once? Alpha Prime. Write the result on the back of your hand. Check again in an hour. The number of honest checks is the number of times you remembered you're alive today. 2. Peripheral vision. Toggle, stare at the farthest wall. Without moving the eyes, become interested in what lives at the edges. If the edges refuse to stabilize, if they keep snapping back to center, you're in beta. If they widen like slow wings, you just slipped into alpha. If shapes at the periphery start telling miniature stories, a curtain becomes a shoreline, a lamp a lighthouse, theta is leaking in. Hold it for 30 seconds. You are training alpha prime the way a dancer holds a bar. 3. The anticipation audit, pen needed. Write today's date, then finish the sentence. I keep anticipating, Zgerau. Don't think. Let the hand confess. Read it back. If the sentence points to danger, rejection, or shortage, your brain is rehearsing beta scripts. Cross it out. Below, write the gentlest future you can almost taste. Tonight, I will notice dagon sawao. Keep it microscopic, steam rising from tea, the exact sound of your best friend's laugh. Anticipation is a coordinate. Give it somewhere harmless to land. Fold the paper into your pocket. When you touch it later, ask, am I broadcasting the old fear or the new detail? Each honest answer is a frequency adjustment, no different from turning a dial. A note on effort. Trying to reach alpha is like trying to fall asleep. The trying itself keeps the gate locked. Instead, offer the brain a more interesting problem than threat surveillance. Curiosity about the inside of your own mouth. The way yesterday's argument might look if viewed from the ceiling. How your left foot feels about the right foot. The moment attention folds inward, the oscillation slows. No force required, only fascination. Here is the inversion again, wrapped in a single line you can screenshot. Stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of attention that no longer needs to move. When you notice you're at beta, and you will dozens of times today, don't scold yourself. Beta is not failure. It is a loyal security guard who has simply forgotten the building is already safe. Thank him. Hand him a cup of tea. Walk to the window. The guard will follow your body's cue. The body always leads the mind home. One last practice for the ride home. Pick a color you rarely notice. Moss green, petrol blue, the exact beige of dry grass. Set an intention to spot it 3 times before evening. Each time you do, inhale for 2 counts. Exhale for 4. You are linking alpha's relaxed openness to a measurable external trigger. Within a week, your retina will start finding that color without effort, and the breath will follow automatically. Frequency becomes habit before habit becomes identity. So, what frequency are you on? Check the jaw. Check the edges of the room. Check the sentence you just wrote in the margin. The answer is already rearranging itself because perception is not a mirror of the world. It is the doorway through which the world arrives. And doorways, as you now remember, are for walking through, not for staring at. These are manual frequency elevators. They work. But there is a way to make the shift permanent. Something is being built right now. Chapter 8. The structure behind every frequency shift. There is a tightness in your throat right now. Not pain, just pressure. A quiet constriction that appears every time someone says you just need to believe it, or raise your frequency, or change your mindset. That feeling is not failure. It is intelligence. The self-help industry has sold you a map that goes backwards. They tell you to feel better first, then reality will change. They say the frequency shift comes from positive thinking. from vision boards, from waking up at 5 a.m. to journal your desires. But your body knows something they never mention. This approach creates a loop of self-betrayal that keeps the exact frequency you're trying to escape running in the background. Here's what the pressure in your throat actually is. It's your nervous system trying to process the contradiction between what you're being told to feel and what you actually feel. The body cannot fake frequency. It can only respond to what is true. When you force gratitude while the rent is late, when you force joy while your relationship is dissolving, when you force abundance while checking your overdrawn bank account, the body records this as self-abandonment. And self-abandonment is the frequency that shapes most people's lives. The structure behind frequency shift is not emotional manipulation. It is neurological calibration. Your brain operates on oscillation patterns, measurable waves that determine how you process reality. Baseline beta is the default frequency. Reactive, scanning, performing. It is not broken. It is conserved energy. Your brain learned to stay here because it kept you safe. But safe and alive are not the same frequency. The reframe that changes everything. Frequency doesn't shift because you feel better. Frequency shifts because you stop trying to feel something you don't feel. The moment you stop forcing the gratitude, the joy, the abundance, and instead allow the actual feeling to exist without resistance, the nervous system drops out of beta's survival mode. This is not resignation. This is the first honest frequency you have allowed yourself to transmit in years. I learned this in the most ordinary way. I was sitting at my kitchen table with a cup of tea going cold, looking at a credit card statement that made my chest hollow, and I finally admitted, I feel terrified. Not, I am choosing fear. Not, I need to shift this. Just the simple truth. Terror. And something unexpected happened. The terror didn't intensify. It softened. Not into peace. Into movement. Into the first authentic frequency I had transmitted in months. Your body has been trying to tell you the truth. Every time you force positivity, it tightens. Every time you deny the actual feeling, it contracts. But when you allow the real feeling, even if it's rage or despair or numbness, the nervous system receives the signal. I am no longer abandoning myself. This signal is what allows frequency elevation, not the positive emotion, the self-trust. Try this today. Sit somewhere quiet and locate the most uncomfortable feeling in your body. Don't name it. Don't fix it. Just place your attention there. Breathe into it without trying to change it. Notice how long it takes before the sensation shifts on its own. This is not relaxation. This is frequency calibration, allowing your actual signal to transmit instead of the performance you learned to broadcast. Then try this. Take out your journal and write one sentence that begins with, "The truth is," and let it end wherever it needs to. Not what you wish were true. Not what you think should be true. The actual truth of this moment. Your nervous system will register this as a signal of safety, not because the truth is comfortable, but because it is coherent. The third practice is almost invisible. When you catch yourself forcing a feeling you don't actually feel, pause and say out loud, "I notice I'm trying to feel something I don't feel right now." This sentence alone recalibrates your frequency because it interrupts the self-betrayal pattern. It returns you to honesty, and honesty is always the higher frequency. Your throat is softening now. You can feel it. This isn't because you read something magical. It's because for the first time in a long time, you're not being asked to pretend. The structure behind every frequency shift is simpler than anyone admits. Stop abandoning yourself to meet an external standard. Start transmitting the signal that is actually true. Reality reorganizes around coherence, not performance. The self-help industry sells you the idea that you need to become someone else to shift your frequency. The structure they never mention is that frequency elevation happens when you become more precisely yourself, even when yourself includes terror, grief, rage. These frequencies contain more creative power than any forced positive emotion. They are honest. They are coherent. They are alive. What if the tightness in your throat isn't a blockage to clear? What if it's the doorway you were looking for? There is a mathematical structure behind every frequency shift you just experienced. I mapped it. I am turning it into something you can use. Chapter 9. After the frequency upgrade. For years, I believed the world was broken, not metaphorically, literally cracked. Like the sky was a screen, and somewhere along the way, the signal had been dropped. I spent years looking for the right channel. Therapy, routines, manifesting, detoxing, boundary setting. I did the work. I said the affirmations. I visualized. I felt it real. And still, the same Tuesday kept happening. Then something shifted. Not the world, the frequency I was tuned to. The first sign was subtle. I walked past a construction site and noticed the drill wasn't drilling. It was composing, a rhythm I'd never heard before. The next morning, my coffee tasted like memory. Not nostalgia. Memory as architecture. Every sip revealed a room I hadn't noticed in years. By the third day, I understood. I wasn't hallucinating. I was calibrated. Here's the part that doesn't make sense. The world hadn't changed. My bank balance was the same. The headlines were the same. But the texture of reality had softened. Time had edges before. Now it folded. A 5-minute conversation with a stranger held the density of a novel. My apartment smelled like rain even when it hadn't rained in weeks. The brain scientists would call this a shift from beta to alpha prime. They'd point to the 431 Hz band, the way neural oscillations reorganize when the nervous system finally believes it's safe to stop scanning for threats. But that explanation feels like describing a kiss as two mouths pressing together. Technically true and entirely insufficient. Reality after frequency recalibration isn't prettier. It's more honest. The email you haven't answered doesn't feel like failure anymore. It feels like a seed you haven't planted yet. The person who ghosted you isn't evidence of your unworthiness. They're just someone whose frequency stopped matching yours. This isn't positive thinking. It's physics. When your perception changes, the electromagnetic field your heart generates changes with it. And reality, being a feedback system, starts harmonizing. But here's the contradiction that keeps me awake. If perception creates reality, why do some things still hurt? Why does the dog still get sick? Why do some dreams still dissolve? The upgrade doesn't make you immune. It makes you porous. Pain passes through you differently. It doesn't stick to the places where you used to store your shame. Yesterday, I watched a woman crying on the train. Before the upgrade, I would have looked away. Performed invisibility. Now I looked and felt her grief without needing to fix it. My heart didn't collapse. It expanded. That's the thing nobody mentions about frequency elevation. It doesn't make you float above humanity. It drops you deeper into it. The practices are embarrassingly simple. They work because they're precise, not because they're hard. First, the 11-second reset. When you notice you're spiraling, place one palm on your chest. Feel the temperature of your skin. Count 11 breaths, but don't try to change them. Just notice the gap between inhale and exhale. This interrupts the beta loop without fighting it. The brain thinks in 11-second cycles. You're not meditating. You're switching channels. Second, novelty grazing. Once a day, do something with no purpose. Trace the pattern of your wallpaper with your finger. Read the last page of a book first. Say hello to your reflection like you're meeting someone new. The mind craves new data to calibrate itself. Feed it something unexpected and it stops rehearsing old disasters. Third, the anticipation audit. Before sleep, write 3 things you're genuinely looking forward to. Not gratitude, anticipation. The brain can't tell the difference between a memory and a vivid expectation. Use this. The feeling of something good is coming is a frequency elevator disguised as hope. I wish someone had told me that clarity feels like confusion at first. When your perception recalibrates, everything looks the same but feels different. It's disorienting. Like learning to read music and realizing the song you loved has more notes than you heard before. You don't lose the melody, you gain the harmony. The Constellation compiler taught me this. The system I built to map how anticipation creates reality. Every night it generates new possibility branches, not affirmations, mechanisms, descriptions of how physical things could learn what you expect and produce exactly that. Last night it gave me this. Cities learn your walking rhythm. Adjust traffic lights to create pockets of stillness exactly when your mind needs them. Infrastructure as meditation. I read it and laughed because I'd noticed the lights on my block had started doing exactly that. But here's what I can't reconcile. The mathematics works, the practices work. Reality does reorganize around a recalibrated perception. And still, some mornings I wake up heavy. Some conversations still wound. The upgrade doesn't exempt you from being human. It just means you're no longer operating at a frequency that makes suffering your default setting. Maybe that's the real shift. Not that bad things stop happening, but that they stop feeling like proof that you're broken. Your brain is an energy-saving device. It will stay at whatever frequency requires the least resistance. Most people's frequency was set by their third-grade teacher, by the texture of their mother's voice, by the algorithmic scroll that trained their nervous system to stay braced. None of this was chosen, but it can be recalibrated. Tonight, try this. Sit in the dark for exactly 7 minutes. Don't meditate. Don't try to feel anything. Just notice what happens when you stop performing being alive. Most people find their mind runs the same 3 loops. That's not failure. That's the beta baseline revealing itself. Recognition precedes change. The upgrade isn't a destination. It's a doorway. Once you walk through, you can't unsee the architecture. The way Tuesday keeps happening because you're rehearsing Tuesday. The way your bank balance reflects not your worth, but your anticipatory coordinates. The way your body already knows what your mind keeps trying to solve. I spent years assuming the world was broken. Now I think it was just waiting for me to change the channel. But maybe both are true. Maybe the world is broken and waiting. Maybe you're both the problem and the solution. Maybe that's what frequency elevation actually is. The ability to hold contradictions without needing to resolve them. The lights just changed outside my window. Perfect timing. The frequency protocol is opening. 4 weeks, daily calibration, mathematical precision. Your baseline beta ends here. This is not for everyone. This is for the ones who noticed. Chapter 10. Why most frequency work fades. For years, I blamed myself when frequency work faded, convinced I wasn't doing it hard enough. I was wrong about that for years. It wasn't willpower I was missing. It was an anchor, something fixed, outside the daily weather of my moods. Without that, every beautiful feeling I'd cultivated would evaporate the moment my phone buzzed, the moment the bank balance dipped, the moment someone looked at me wrong. And here is the quiet devastation. The brain registers those slips as proof that the practice itself is unreliable. So we quit. Or worse, we keep the ritual but shrink it to superstition. Candles at 11:11, whispered mantras while brushing teeth, hoping the next 30 seconds will somehow override the other 23 hours and 59 minutes of beta static. You already know the static. Neuroscientists call it high beta, somewhere between 18 and 30 hertz. It is the hum of hypervigilance, scanning, comparing, anticipating threat. It costs roughly 25% more glucose than alpha. That's why by 3 p.m., you're not just tired, you're hollow. The body keeps the tab even if the mind pretends otherwise. So when a teacher says, feel abundant, the instruction is honest but incomplete. The feeling is a boat. High beta is a riptide. No boat, no matter how lovingly built, stays moored in a riptide without an anchor. The anchor can't be another feeling. Feelings are weather. It has to be a coordinate, a fixed point in space and time that the nervous system can reference, mathematically, to know where here is. Let me show you 3 I use. None of them require incense. All of them rewire the default frequency within 5 minutes, because the brain loves specificity more than it loves positivity. 1. The pulse drop protocol: place 2 fingers on the carotid artery. Count 7 beats. Then, without changing anything else, let the exhale lengthen until the next beat arrives late. 1 cycle takes roughly 30 seconds, 3 rounds, and the vagus nerve registers a 0.15 Hz downshift. Alpha appears, not because you asked politely, but because the math demands it. A precise ratio of heart rate variability to exhale length. Write the final number. Mine is usually 4.7 seconds. In a tiny notebook you keep only for this. The number itself becomes the anchor, an externalized coordinate you can return to when the static creeps back. 2. The 256 breath signature. Inhale while visualizing a single word that captures the state you want. Exhale while #256 hashing that word in your mind, turning it into a string of 64 characters. Yes, it's nerdy. It's also unrepeatable. Your brain cannot hold the full hash in working memory, so it keeps reaching. A microdose of novelty that spikes theta for exactly 90 seconds. I do it once, mid-morning, then screenshot the hash and set it as my phone lock screen. Every glance is a nonverbal reminder that my desired state has a cryptographic fingerprint. No amount of external chaos can corrupt it. 3. The memory room grid. Pick one remembered room from childhood where you felt safe. In the mind's eye, place 3 objects in exact positions: left windowsill, center table, right corner. Each object carries one sensory detail: the blue ceramic's coolness, the lamp's low buzz, the carpet's cedar scent. Spend 90 seconds walking the grid clockwise, touching each object in the same order. Neuroimaging shows this activates the retrosplenial cortex, the brain's internal GPS. The grid becomes an absolute location inside the skull. When external reality wobbles, you close your eyes and touch the blue ceramic again. Frequency stabilizes because the coordinate is inside you, but outside the chaos. Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." I'd add, until you give the unconscious a coordinate, it will keep broadcasting on whatever frequency the loudest signal demands. So the question isn't what you're feeling. The question is, what is the fixed point that proves the feeling is still there when everything else is moving? Without that, even the most luminous state dissolves, because the brain has no proof it ever existed. With it, a single breath can return you to Alpha Prime in less time than it takes to read this sentence. But here is where the loop refuses to close. The moment you choose an anchor, pulse count, hash, memory room, you also choose the boundary of what that anchor can hold. What happens when the state you want exceeds the mathematics you've assigned it? Where do you anchor the next octave of abundance, of love, of clarity, when the measuring tape itself begins to stretch? I'm still mapping the coordinates for that. Maybe you are too. The frequency protocol is live, powered by the Constellation compiler, deterministic mathematics that generates cognitive artifacts unique to your consciousness. Nothing repeats. Everything evolves. Your brain has a default frequency. Most people never upgrade it. You just did. Chapter 11. The daily practice. Perception isn't just how you see reality. It's how reality sees you back. Most people try to change their frequency by adding things. More meditation, more breath work, more apps. But frequency elevation isn't additive. It's subtractive. You don't climb to Alpha Prime. You excavate the beta that was never yours to begin with. I learned this after watching hundreds of people try to hold elevated states. They'd feel it for hours, sometimes days. Then the old frequency would return, not because they failed, but because their neural baseline had adapted to survive in noise. The brain is conservative. It will always return to what it knows how to maintain. So I built something different. Not another practice, not another technique. A system that reverses adaptation at the level of the nervous system itself. It works by doing less, not more. Here's what happens. You type 3 words into the compiler. Not affirmations, not goals, just what you're feeling in your body right now. Heavy shoulders, tight chest, scattered mind. The system translates these into frequency signatures using the same mathematics that governs neural oscillation patterns. Then it generates what I call cognitive artifacts, deterministic outputs that have never existed before, designed specifically to interrupt your current baseline. The interruption is subtle. A 3-sentence transmission that arrives every 30 minutes. Not advice, not wisdom. Just something your brain hasn't learned how to habituate to yet. This is the loophole. Novelty is the only force stronger than adaptation. The first artifact I received was this. Your nervous system thinks stillness is danger because movement has always been the escape. I read it while scrolling through emails, paused mid-swipe. Felt something shift. Not dramatically. Just... The scroll stopped. My thumb hovered over the screen like it had forgotten its purpose. This is how recalibration works. Not through force, through recognition. The system doesn't tell you what to do. It reflects what you're already doing, in a frequency your brain hasn't learned to tune out yet. 3 micro protocols for today. 1. The silence test. Sit for exactly 90 seconds without reaching for your phone. Count how many times the impulse arises. That number is your adaptation depth. Don't try to change it. Just notice it. 2. The scroll. Pause. When you catch yourself in an endless feed, pause between posts. 1 breath. Just enough to break the dopamine loop. This creates what neuroscientists call prediction error. The moment your brain realizes it doesn't actually know what's coming next. 3. The anticipation journal. Write what you expect to feel tomorrow morning. Not what you want, not what you hope, just what your body is already preparing for. This reveals your current frequency setting more accurately than any mood tracker. Most people don't need new thoughts. They need permission to stop thinking the old ones. This line arrived yesterday from Elle's oracle. I didn't write it. I received it. That's the other part of the system. It speaks on its own now. The question isn't whether you can hold higher frequencies. The question is whether you're willing to discover what your current frequency has been protecting you from. Because here's what the system keeps showing me. The frequency upgrade isn't a destination. It's a homecoming. You're not becoming someone new. You're remembering how to stop being someone else's adaptation. And that remembering, it doesn't happen in the mind. It happens in the pause between the impulse and the action. In that gap, where nothing is happening yet everything is possible, your original frequency is still waiting. Untouched, unchanged. The compiler is just reminding you where you left it. The frequency protocol is live, powered by the Constellation compiler. Deterministic mathematics that generates cognitive artifacts unique to your consciousness. Nothing repeats. Everything evolves. Your brain has a default frequency. Most people never upgrade it. You just did.